Cashing out your crypto the wrong way can cost you almost half in taxes. I'm not kidding. You spend years stacking Bitcoin, Ethereum, or altcoins, and then suddenly the taxman takes a massive cut. However, I know traders who play this game differently. They borrow instead of sell. They move to crypto tax havens. They even set up structures that look completed but keep millions completely tax-free. So in this video, I'm going to show you the real playbook for cashing out your crypto anonymously and, in some cases, legally tax-free. Welcome back to Captain Altcoin. Today, I want to talk about something every crypto investor needs to think about: how to actually use your gains. Because let's face it, it's easy to buy, it's easy to hodl, but when it comes time to sell, that's when the problems start. Governments want their share, banks throw up red flags, and suddenly your life-changing gains don't look so life-changing anymore. I'll cover the anonymous cash-out methods people are still using in 2025, like P2P trades, crypto ATMs, and vouchers. Then we'll get into the smarter, more strategic moves that the wealthy use to cash out tax-free. I'll also share my own thoughts, because honestly, I've been shocked at how different the game looks once you understand these strategies. Before we continue, I want to mention that this video is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Always talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions. Now, before we jump into the solutions, let's quickly talk about the problem. Crypto is treated as property in most countries. That means every time you sell, swap, or spend it, you could be creating a taxable event. And depending on where you live, those taxes can be brutal. 15, 20, 30, even more percent. Plus, if you're trying to cash out big amounts, banks will start asking questions. $100,000 wire showing up from your Binance is going to trigger some alarms. I've seen people who didn't plan ahead lose half of their stack just because they cashed out the wrong way. That's why having a plan matters. Now let's start with the privacy side of things. Maybe you don't care about moving to Dubai or setting up an offshore company. You just want to cash out without handing over your passport. That's still possible, but with some limits. Peer-to-peer trading platforms are one of the oldest tricks in the book. You can use something like Paxful to sell Tether or Bitcoin directly to another person. The platform holds your coins in escrow until you confirm you've been paid. Payment methods range from bank transfers to PayPal, even Payoneer. But here's the catch. The money you receive lands in those systems, and they know who you are. Even though the exchange itself didn't KYC you, Payoneer did. That means it's not 100% anonymous. The key with peer-to-peer is picking the right trading partners. I only recommend dealing with profiles that have thousands of completed trades and positive reviews. Otherwise, you risk running into scammers or even chargebacks. I've seen people lose money because a buyer reversed a PayPal payment after receiving the crypto. So be careful. Another option is to meet someone and trade directly. I'll be honest, this is risky, but some people still do it. You send the crypto from your wallet and they hand you cash. No records, no banks. Just trust. If you ever go this route, meet in a safe public place and maybe even bring a friend. It's old school, but it's one of the only truly anonymous ways to walk away with paper money. Again, I don't like this option. I'm just giving you a range of options. Bitcoin ATMs are another tool. You can walk up, scan a QR code, and the machine spits out cash. No KYC, at least for small amounts. Usually the limit is 100 or 200 per day without ID, but fees are high, sometimes 8 to 10%. So ATMs are great if you just want quick, small withdrawals, but they're not practical for large amounts. Then there's the gift card route. You can use your crypto to buy Amazon or Walmart vouchers and just spend them like cash. I've done this before and it works surprisingly well if you just want to use your Bitcoin without converting it to fiat. Of course, it's not really cashing out. It's more like redirecting your spending. Still, it keeps your crypto off the radar. Some projects even offer prepaid debit cards you can top up with crypto without KYC. Limits are usually low, maybe a few $100s, but it's another way to spend without giving away your identity. We released a separate video about the best no-KYC cards in crypto now if you want to have a look. So yes, anonymous cash outs are still possible, but they're limited in size and often come with higher costs, which is why smart money plays a different game when it comes to serious amounts. This is where things get interesting. let's talk about strategies that can legally reduce or eliminate your tax bill. Strategy 1. Borrow. Don't sell. This is the biggest one. Instead of selling your Bitcoin, you pledge it as a collateral and take a loan. Let's say you put up 3 million worth of Bitcoin and borrow 1 million at 30% loan to value. You now have $1 million in your account, cash you can spend without selling anything. And because loans aren't income, there's no tax. I love this strategy because it also keeps you exposed to the upside. You still own the Bitcoin and you can even earn staking rewards on it. Just be careful with your loan to value. If prices crash and you're over leveraged, you could get liquidated, which would be taxable. That's why whales usually keep it conservative. Strategy 2. Move to a crypto tax haven. Another option is changing your tax residency. Some countries simply don't tax crypto gains. Dubai has 0% personal income and 0% capital gains tax. Puerto Rico has Act 60, which lets qualified residents pay 0% on crypto profits. El Salvador treats Bitcoin as legal tender and exempts it from capital gains. Of course, you can't just buy a plane ticket and call it a day. To qualify, you usually need to spend more than 183 days in the country, move your family or show ties. And if you're American, the IRS still taxes you on worldwide income unless you go to Puerto Rico route or renounce citizenship. But for a lot of people, moving to a tax haven is the cleanest way to cash out millions tax-free. Strategy 3. Offshore corporate structures. This one is more advanced. Wealthy investors sometimes set up companies in places like the Cayman Islands or the British Virgin Islands. The company sells the crypto instead of the individual, and then it can loan the proceeds back to you personally. On paper, you're just repaying a loan to an offshore company. Done correctly, this can avoid immediate capital gains tax. But let's be real. This is complex, requires lawyers, and if you mess it up, you could end up with even bigger problems. Strategy 4. Tax loss harvesting. This is one I personally think more people should use. If you've got losing positions in your portfolio, sell them to lock in the losses. Then you can use those losses to offset your gains. In the United States, you can even buy the coin back right away because the wash sale rule doesn't currently apply to crypto. So, if you're sitting on a bag that's underwater, it could actually help you cash out winners tax-free. Strategy 5. Retirement accounts. In some countries, you can buy crypto in tax-advantaged accounts. For example, in the United States, a Roth IRA lets you withdraw everything tax-free in retirement. So imagine staking Ethereum now and pulling it out at range 60 with no tax bill at all. That's a long-term play, but it's a legit path to a tax-free cash out. Now, I want to be clear, none of this is a free pass to dodge the law. Anonymity doesn't mean you don't owe taxes, and moving offshore isn't something you do overnight. I've seen people get burned trying to cut corners. The point of these strategies is to work with the law in a smarter way. Borrowing against your coins isn't a loophole, it's just how tax codes treat debt. Moving to Dubai or Puerto Rico is legal as long as you actually live there. Even tax loss harvesting is spelled out in the IRS code. But yeah, banks will still ask questions. Big inflows from crypto can trigger audits, and governments are only getting stricter about tracking this stuff. So you need to plan ahead, not scramble at the last minute. So, what's the takeaway here? If you're sitting on a serious gains, think bigger. Borrow against your stack, relocate to a tax haven, or use structures that wealthy already rely on. Before I really looked into all this, I thought there was no way around the tax hit. But once I saw how whales actually do it, it made me realize there are smart, legal paths that protect your profits. Now I want to hear from you. Would you ever consider moving to a crypto tax haven, or do you prefer borrowing against your stack? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you find this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's thinking about cashing out. Because trust me, they need to see this before making a costly mistake. This is Captain Altcoin signing out.